What's up guys? We are now in Manchester, UK. Cool! You guys remember Qiuyu? Qiuyu is the girl that came to our podcast before and shared about property investment around Singapore, but due to their very high restriction in tax system, right, they are all coming over to UK and they bought several already. So I was very curious on why do they want to invest over here. And now we are actually walking across the street around Manchester City, and if you are a fan of architecture, right, it's very nice. So last night, after traveling for door to door 24 hours straight, wow, not easy. That seems to be the main challenge for investing properties in a location where it's very far away. So after speaking to Qiuyu and her team just now, a few things to highlight. Like Manchester is located slightly higher above London in terms of the weather. It's way colder, so now it's like 9 degrees on the daytime and it's raining already, so this is the common weather around here. And then in terms of the GDP of capital cities in UK, London of course number one, and the second one used to be Birmingham, but Manchester lately has been coming out very strong. But personally, if I were to think from an investment point of view, the location that comes with an international airport will win, because it just shortens and it adds way more convenience. And if you look around the cityscape of Manchester city centre, how they do town planning here is really determined by this thing called the zoning. There's like zone 1, zone 2 and all. The boundary of the zones is illustrated by the roads. They are laid out in a very radial format where there's a center and all roads connects to it, right? Then there's connected this ring road. This is actually in zone 1. And zone 1, from boundary to boundary, if you draw a radius around, it takes around 10 to 15 minutes walking. And that's the main difference that I find in between what we have in Malaysia and what we have around here. The experience is always pedestrian first. In KL, what we have is all car first. And if you look into the cityscapes, right, that will be the city centre of Manchester. And if you look into the architectural language, it's all brickworks, and they are very limited high-rise towers like this. So Hilton used to be one of the earliest high-rise available in the city, but due to its increasing demand for space and job opportunities, there are a lot more projects that are coming up around Zone 1. And there's this developer that Qiuyu team is buying, is actually called Renneker, and the entire project reminds me like KL Eco City. So suddenly when you have a plot of land and you develop 4 towers at once, divided into north, south, east, west tower. If you look into buildings like this is very obvious old buildings lah, and they are all new kind of buildings where you have refurbishment that went on. So you can see somewhat like steel works added on to old buildings, right? So those are the old news. In comparison to old architectures like this, full curtain wall systems like this is going to be the brand new facade for all the new buildings, including those as well. So this is actually Dean's Gate. Then you have Victoria Tower, Elizabeth Tower, the Blade, as well as 360. So right now we are actually in between the existing project of Dean's Gate, the 4 towers, and their new projects. They're going to be completed really soon. Some is actually completed already. And for such a matured location, it's a very different feeling when it comes to development. In Malaysia, we have developments left, right, center, everywhere, right? So we constantly talk about oversupply. But here, development seems like a very rare thing to happen. That's why there's actually a housing crunch, where there's not enough houses for people. Hence, that reflects in the rental demand. So all these houses that you see, right, most of them 100% occupied. And now we're actually walking in Dean's Gate already, and this one is facing the internal road. You can see the accessibility to the retail, it's very pedestrian. And these typologies of mixed developments of having retails at ground floor, have common facilities within the living areas of the residents compared to the old apartments. Those are residential unit only. There's no common areas, there's no facilities. So it's purely just circulation space to your unit, come out, that's it. So for this development, you have 4 towers all together, sharing one drop-off and grand lobby here. Okay, and because they are sharing that lobby, it's really designed extensively. And something about Rentokil also, they are a construction company turned developer, because they used to build a lot of high-rise for other developers. Now they are actually building on their own. So this is somewhat like their flagship development, and spaces here are so in demand that they are actually waiting lists for units. So the average price for one bedder here is around 300,000. So 3 years ago they were sold at 280. Now it's at 300, and it's actually going up. And the room rental for a one bedder in such a setting, it's around 1,003 to 1,004 per month. And if you calculate in terms of ROI, it's around 6% in a very conservative manner of calculation. So now let's just walk through the spaces a little bit, and we'll go check out the penthouse, because that's the only unit left for sale. Something about the securities here, they are very strict. You have muscular men there. Hey sir, you cannot shoot here. And everybody try to stop you when you shoot the facilities. So I will do my best. Okay. Via a turnstile, residents will go through this entrance lobby that is so well decorated. This is shared by 4 towers all together. Then on one floor up, this is what they call the amenities. To us, it's like a communal dining space. Besides that, they also have a heated pool, which is amazing, that comes with gym as well. Going into the common lobby, they are all carpeted because of the weather, and it's really well decorated. And now let's check out the penthouse unit. Just now, that will be all the back of house where you have the drop-offs, the delivery bay area and all. Then here will be somewhat like the plaza and walkways. For the main differences of Dean's Gate across all apartments will be the modern arrangement of facilities and different components all together. If you look into old settings, it's like individual houses with individual shop lots. Okay, then you have apartments that's purely on residential, no common areas, no shared areas at all. Then in terms of pet friendliness, there are just a lot of people that just walk their dog around here, and it's absolutely pet friendly. They can actually just bring the dog onto the lift to the common areas, no issue, and everybody say hi to the dog. Well, it's so dog friendly here, right, that they even have a gym for the dog, or the playground for the dog. And all retail spaces here are fully owned by the developer, so they kind of control the lease to different trades. So some you have F&Bs, groceries, community elements like the cooking classes and all. And that's the main attraction for a lot of tenants to be living in this tower currently. So now we are in the grocer, and the shopkeepers actually shared that a lot of Manchester City players actually stays here. It's pretty common that they bump into football players. Wow, cry. Almost similar to what we have in Malaysia, where people actually go into high-rise for several reasons. The security, where it's really guarded, where there's CCTVs around, there's security guards around all the time. You need access card to get in. Then you have the convenience of mixed development. You can just walk down and grab milk. You can just walk down and meet your friends. Then with all the facilities such as a heated swimming pool, right? That's cool. The gym that is so sophisticated, and it's almost like commercial level kind of gym. If not like this, you will need to look for a separate gym within the commercial area in the town. Then every time you need to go gym, you need to go through this cold, right? Because people here usually do not drive. Again, it's very pedestrian centric. Another reason is when they live in a brand new tower like this, the low-rise setting around town gives you that very nice view, that nice vista across Manchester city centre as a whole. That is really close to the tram and the train station, so they even have a station called Deansgate Station. Also similar to what we have in KL, they also use app, or you can manually just tell the concierge that you want to use all the facilities within. And we checked out the show flat. In terms of density, it's not too crazy, and this is already considered one of the highest density around town already, and it is in demand. That's crazy. I guess that's all. But on a side note, right, after you come here, you really feel that Malaysian ringgit is so small. Then right after Deansgate, which is the project that we just visit, I also managed to check out the earlier investments that has been done by the team, which is Elizabeth Tower, Castle Wharf, and you can really see the similarities in terms of design, where the entrance lobby is just amazing, and all of them will have the similar amenities. But here, amenities are not a requirement, not like Malaysia where you must have swimming pool, you must have tadika in your project. This one, not really. Hence, they use amenities to somewhat be a differentiating factor from the surrounding apartments, and that results in a very high occupancy rate, also a very high rental demand. And what's really cool here is we get to see from a very flat area where it's all old buildings and factories. Suddenly the local authorities approve such a master plan that allows super high towers, and we can see that throughout our visit in Manchester, which eventually became a landmark. So this is somewhat like the government's effort in trying to redefine the skyline of Manchester City. That's very nice to see. That's all for day 1. Stay tuned for day 2's episode. See you guys.